something extraordinary surfaced when a series of court documents linked to Jeffrey Epstein and his former associate Maxwell came to light. The names contained in these files stunned everyone who followed the case, revealing a mix of entertainers, politicians, and even revered intellectuals. Today, we're diving into the most surprising and controversial details from that unsealed material, details that some would have preferred to keep permanently buried. David Copperfield might be famous for making iconic landmarks vanish, but his association with Epstein has proven far harder to conceal. In one accuser's deposition, the famed illusionist allegedly joined dinner gatherings at Epstein's residence, performing magic tricks for guests who, according to the testimony, included some girls much younger than anyone had imagined. One witness claimed that at least one of these dinners saw Copperfield asking if people knew about a disturbing scheme in which girls were getting paid to recruit more girls. Although Copperfield denied accusations in other situations over the years, this new mention stirred even more speculation about just how deep Epstein's social web extended. But as unsettling as these details might be, Copperfield's involvement was only a single thread in a much larger tapestry. The documents also named a well-known prime minister, implying a figure of enormous political influence had been introduced to women under Epstein's control. Epstein allegedly aimed to collect blackmail information from these encounters to secure loyalty or leverage. While the documents were cautious about revealing the prime minister's exact identity, the assertion that one of the most powerful leaders on the global stage got pulled into this twisted environment left observers reeling. The Prime Minister's name wasn't the only high-profile label in these files, though. The unsealed records described a strategy of strategic introductions among wealthy financiers, government officials, and celebrities to benefit Epstein's personal, financial, and political aspirations. Then came a revelation involving the king of pop himself, Michael Jackson. According to one accuser, Jackson had once paid a visit to Epstein's Palm Beach home. The witness testified that she met Jackson, although she clarified she did not witness or hear about any inappropriate behavior from him at that time. Even so, the mere mention of the late superstar's name in these unsettling documents raised eyebrows. If Jackson was truly at Epstein's residence, what might have been discussed or arranged behind closed doors? Without further testimony, that question remains open, but it reminded everyone that Epstein's social circles spanned the worlds of both politics and entertainment. Another figure who popped up in Epstein's orbit was Donald Trump before he became president. The unsealed filings revealed that Epstein once diverted his private jet to Atlantic City and casually mentioned calling up Trump, suggesting they should visit one of his casinos. Although Trump was not accused of any wrongdoing in these particular documents, his mention underscores how Epstein connected with prominent individuals from a wide variety of realms. Trump himself famously said years ago that Epstein liked women on the younger side, a comment that aged poorly once the horrific extent of Epstein's offenses came to light. At the time, the remark seemed little more than a jest. Now, in retrospect, it carries a more ominous tone. Even royalty couldn't escape Epstein's sphere, and few associations proved more headline-grabbing than Prince Andrew's. The Duke of York's affiliation with Epstein was already common knowledge, but the unsealed documents sparked renewed interest. One accuser claimed Prince Andrew inappropriately touched her during a bizarre moment involving a puppet made in his likeness, a scenario so strange it might sound fictional if it hadn't been mentioned under oath. Another victim alleged she was forced into encounters with Andrew while still underage, adding a horrifying new layer to the ongoing scandal. Maxwell herself reportedly expressed dread over being asked about her connections to Andrew, hinting at further secrets beneath the surface. The palace declined to comment, and Andrew no longer conducts official royal duties, but curiosity over the prince's true level of involvement has never subsided. The surprise wasn't limited to show business and royalty, however. In an especially startling twist, the unsealed papers included references to none other than the brilliant theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking. While he was known to have visited Epstein's private island in 2006 for a scientific conference, one rumor suggested he had witnessed or been in proximity to inappropriate situations. The idea of someone so respected in science appearing on the same register as predatory behaviors rattled many people's sensibilities. Hawking, who passed away in 2018, never publicly addressed these murky claims. Still, the mere fact that his name came up in Epstein's files introduced a reminder of how broad and unsuspecting the guest list could be at events hosted by a man who many now see as a monster. Next, the unsealed material brought Bill Clinton into sharper focus. While the former president insisted he never stepped foot on Epstein's island and had no clue about Epstein's illegal activities, these documents contained an offhand comment from Epstein himself, claiming Clinton likes them young. Clinton's name surfaced dozens of times, including repeated attempts by Epstein's accusers to have him deposed in a high-profile lawsuit. He continues to deny any wrongdoing, but photographs and flight logs show him traveling on Epstein's private jet multiple times. Whether or not the full truth ever emerges, Clinton's association with the disgraced financier now looks more problematic than ever, underscoring a question that lingers over every revealed name. How did so many influential people end up in Epstein's orbit, and why did they stay? Despite the shockwaves that each new name or claim produces, the bigger question is whether these revelations will lead to real accountability or remain just another set of sensational headlines. Epstein famously offed himself in 2019 under suspicious circumstances, leaving many of his alleged co-conspirators breathing a sigh of relief. However, these newly released court documents have reopened the conversation, fueling speculation that more truths, and perhaps more names, could come out. The public is left weighing the power of these individuals against the gravity of the accusations made. Are we on the brink of understanding how deeply Epstein managed to embed himself among the world's elite? Or will attention fade, allowing those who brushed shoulders with him to continue their lives unscathed? Ultimately, these court documents paint a picture of a man who manipulated his connections like pieces on a chessboard, arranging them for personal gain and exploiting the vulnerabilities of the young women in his path. Hearing David Copperfield, a high-ranking prime minister, Michael Jackson, Donald Trump, Prince Andrew, Stephen Hawking, and Bill Clinton all mentioned in one grimly woven narrative is enough to make anyone question just how far the ripples of Epstein's influence spread. As we learn more, we also have to ask ourselves, will the public demand consequences for prominent figures who accepted Epstein's invitations? Or will this just be another shocking story that fades with time? No matter the final outcome, one thing seems certain: the Epstein saga stands as a testament to the power wielded by those with wealth, status, and secrets. The real reckoning may be yet to come, because as more documents emerge, more lingering questions about complicity and responsibility are bound to follow. Whether these revelations will ever reach the full light of day remains uncertain, but they already hint at a web of power brokers whose reputations may never fully recover. And for everyone left on the outside, it raises the unsettling possibility that we've only scratched the surface of a much deeper, darker truth.